And again, I don't own the content. I'm not sure where I got it, but again, it's pretty useful. It's a very brief but very powerful um, explanation of how we can view marketing in context. Okay, so sharing it now. Are you able to see it, marketing in context, the slide? Hello, guys?
Yes, bro.
Yes,
Yes, okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'll
Yes,
play the
bro.
video now.
You can't make any marketing decisions in a vacuum. Marketing is just part of an overall picture of your organization, which includes its culture, its financial state, and its business strategy. You can't achieve the best results without seeing the whole picture, because these individual areas of activity are closely linked. Decisions and events in one area affect all the others. Let's take a top-level look at what Marketing Copilot will cover. The overall objective for most commercial organizations is financial, to maximize the value of the company. The company's financial state also affects the resources it has to achieve its goals. A business unit needs a strategy. This is about how the company plans to capture value in the marketplace. It's also about which value the company chooses to go after. Marketing is the major contributing function in creating this strategy. A company's choice of strategy is affected by its culture, style, and capabilities. But a mismatch between a company's ambition and its ability will lead to failure. So companies also need to understand and to invest in their organization's capabilities and resources. Understanding the dynamic linkages between different aspects of the business will make clearer not only what's happening, but why it's happening, and the implications for your work. The effectiveness of marketing activities and spend has a direct impact on the cycle time between financial and strategic objectives being set and actually achieved.
So if there's a key idea in that preceding video, marketing plays a key role in the business as far as achieving the overall objective, which is financial. And the way marketing does that is to find the best way to achieve that objective through strategies and tactics, working together with the other functions of the business. So marketing is not by itself. It works with operations, finance, and human resources to deliver that overall objective. Okay. So how does marketing help create and capture value? Again, this is another short video that will help us understand.
To understand how to maximize the value of a business, we need to remind ourselves where that value comes from in the first place. The value created by a manufacturer or supplier is the difference between the costs they incur and the value of the benefits to the customer. If there's only one supplier, it can charge a very high price. It can, in effect, capture all of the value it has created. But if competitors can meet the same needs, they will start to bid the price down. Thus, the proportion of value captured will fall, possibly right down to zero. The only way to avoid this effect is for the company to find needs that are in some way hard to meet and where it has an advantage relative to the competition. So, strategic marketing decisions begin with choosing where to compete, what products and services the company will deliver to what customers, in what geographic locations, and through which distribution channels. The other half of the strategic decision-making is deciding how to compete. By finding sources of advantage, assets, capabilities, or relationships you can use to meet customer needs better or cheaper than your competitors. A potential advantage becomes a real competitive advantage when customers or consumers see a difference in value between the company's products and competing offers. and when competitors can't easily close the gap. To create maximum value, the company should seek combinations of customer needs and company advantages that provide the best balance between being attractive and achievable now and in the future.
And one more thing, if you found value in this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, connect through my blog or through LinkedIn, so together we can serve.
Copilot provides a clear process for strategic marketing decisions, allowing you to make marketing recommendations based on a full understanding of the competitive environment. The first step for strategic marketing decisions is to understand the current situation. This includes understanding the business context in which the company is operating. This context includes the company's objectives, its competitive strategy, its financial position, and its organizational structure. Understanding the business context will allow you to communicate with managers in all roles and at all levels of the organization, and it will help you to uncover ideas and test them later on. The second step in the process is to uncover the key issues and opportunities facing the company. There are three main questions you need to ask. The first question is whether the company is segmenting the market in the most useful way. Then you need to ask whether the company is targeting segments where it has strengths relative to the competition. And finally, you need to ask how the company could improve its value proposition to each target segment in the light of what competitors are offering. The third step in the process involves examining the major changes likely to affect the industry's future profitability or growth. These may arise from the 5 competitive forces identified by Professor Porter that affect the structure and attractiveness of the industry, or shocks from the wider environment. Finally, you need to draw all the strands together into a plan of action. This includes deciding if the corporate objectives you've identified require changes to marketing objectives and strategy. For example, new ideas about which customer segments the company should target, or changes to positioning. Then you must consider broadly what that would imply for the marketing mix. Product, price, channel, and communication that is used to actually implement strategy.
Each stage of the buying cycle contains opportunities to create value. At the awareness of needs stage, value is created by helping the client to define their dissatisfactions and identify possible solutions. In the assessment of alternatives, you help the client to match the features and benefits of each alternative against requirements. It's important to quantify this advice if you possibly can. In the alleviation of risks, you help by uncovering and identifying the risks, then showing the client ways of avoiding or minimizing them. In the achievement of results, value can be created, for example, by an implementation plan and by helping the client to spot potential problems before they happen. So, at each stage of the process, value is there to be created by saving the client time, by helping them to see problems in a new way, and by helping them to make a decision which will improve the performance of their business.
In the marketplace, brands are not alone. They compete with other brands, and they compete for the same customers with the same finite budget. The big question is, which brand gets to be chosen which brand wins? Well, brands win versus competition if they are better, or if they are the best solution at that moment to the customer's problems, if these brands have a competitive advantage that it can profitably sustain over a period of time. Welcome to this short learning session on sustainable competitive advantage through winning unique selling propositions. This is Professor Bong de Ungria of the Ateneo Graduate School of Business. And in this presentation, we will link profitable and sustainable competitive advantage to the three strategic C's of marketing. We will also use a simple firewood analogy to explain the concept. We will also link it to another model called the Marketing Stethoscope 48 Ps and how we can be better than competition through our unique selling proposition. Finally, to further elaborate on the concept, we will apply this to Jollibee Chicken Joy. Okay, so we move to the first part of this presentation, which is linking this concept to the three strategic C's of marketing: customer, company, and competition. The ILM marketing model is easily remembered because at the center is the heart. And we said there are three strategic C's. The first C is the customer, the second C is the company, and the company creates, communicates, and delivers value. And the third C is competition. So there are always three sides to every consideration represented by the three C's. For the customers, we meet needs, wants, and demands. The way we know we're satisfying the customer is if we get repeat sales. That's the only true test of customer satisfaction. For the company, the KRA is profits, and it should be consistent profits. There should be a system to deliver those profits over time, all the time, or most of the time. And the third C, which is competition, you know if you're doing well if you have market share. So this is the three C's and the three KRAs, and this also illustrates our operational definition of marketing. What's marketing? It's a system of profitably creating, communicating, and delivering value to satisfy customers' needs, wants, and demands better than competition. Now, when is there a market opportunity? There is a market opportunity if there's something that the customer needs, wants, and demands, the company can offer better than competition. Okay, so again, those three elements should be present, and if they're present, what should you do? You should size the market, determine if it's big enough to matter and small enough to handle. You should divide the market into segments, each segment consisting of a group of people with similar needs, wants, and demands. Choose among these segments which will be your primary target market. You support your aim by using your 4 Ps to hit your target, and this is product, promo, place, and price. To hit the bullseye, you should communicate using benefits. And in communication, there are 8 modes: no? Mass and personal. Mass meaning advertising, sales promotions, PR, events and experiences. And for personal communication, it's direct marketing, interactive selling, personal selling, and word of mouth. So for the simple firewood analogy, we start with the customer. In this example, the customer has a problem. His fire went out and he feels cold. He has money to pay for it, but he doesn't have the ability to solve his own problem. So there's a pain. He is cold, there's no fire, and he wants a solution. Enter the company. with resources and the ability to solve the problem and the pain. Now the company can has the resources like an axe and the access to trees as possible source for the firewood. But the firewood itself is not the solution. The solution to the customer pain is the benefit, which is the warmth when the company is able to start a fire. So the benefit to the customer is the warmth, not the wood. And we must keep on reminding brands that it is the benefit that is the most important to the customer. What's in it for the customer? Because of this solution to the pain, the company can charge a price for the product. That is called the value capture. And as long as the value capture price is higher than the cost for the company to procure it or to deliver it, then there is profit. However, in our simple example, competitors can also offer a solution and it can be cheaper. So the customer now has choices. He can choose the cheaper solution or maintain loyalty to the brand that first solved the problem. In this situation, pricing is the worst type of competition because the customer is only deciding on one very tangible thing, and that is price. For situations like this, where the only difference is pricing, then the product becomes a commodity, and it is not very profitable for many brands to compete in a commodity market. Strategic marketing requires finding unique customers where your company's unique selling proposition works better than your competitors. So, in this simple firewood analogy, the task of the company is to look for customers who are on top of a hill or a mountain that the competitors cannot easily attract with their cheaper alternatives. That's one. So, and the other thing is the company has a ladder to be able to service these unique customers. So that's the second one. And third, which was common before in the previous scenario, was the customer still needs to be warm and he's willing to pay a price for that problem. So strategic positioning requires finding the gaps and solving the gaps better than competition. So in our example, for the I Love Marketing model, there is an opportunity if the customer's needs, wants, and demands can be solved better by the company, better than competition. Now let us link this to the marketing stethoscope 48 Ps and the value of the unique selling proposition. In the 48 Ps model, we recall that the positioning is what is mentioned to both the primary target market, those who are actually targeted, and to the penetrated market, the people who actually buy. They both are able to hear the positioning. So in strategic marketing, the first one of the crucial parts of the decision is to find the primary target market. In this case, in our firewood analogy, these are the people with a unique problem. No, they are not the general market. The general market may not be on top of a hill or a mountain, but in this analogy, they are unique because they are faced with a problem that cannot be easily addressed by many competitors. So the positioning for this case is you have a problem, you're on top of a mountain, I have a ladder. The ladder is what we call the unique selling proposition of the company for this particular target market. Now, it's best to remember that the ladder is not one thing. It is actually the sum of the 4 Ps of the brand, where we say that when we say product, it's not just the product itself, but it's the combination of a lot of things from variety to sizes and packaging. And price is list price, discounts, allowances, credit terms. And promotion is actually 8 modes of communication, and place includes location, inventory, and transport. Finally, to just emphasize this point, we apply it to Jollibee Chicken Joy, a local case. So, these are the current prices of Chicken Joy: one piece with rice, with spaghetti, and a bucket of six. These are the prices. The question is Chicken Joy the best? The best in what? Is it the best tasting chicken? The best priced chicken? The fastest in the fast food industry? Is it the safest? Well, for these four items, clearly it's not the best tasting, it's not the lowest price, it's not served fast as say a turo turo, and it probably is not as safe as other fast food or even restaurant food. But why is Jollibee Chicken Joy a winning brand? Because it is the sum of the four P's that includes the taste, the price, the speed, and the safety of this brand as compared to its competitors. We eat Jollibee Chicken Joy if we need the combination of these four P's, and the combination is best served by Jollibee. And what makes Jollibee win, it's able to sustain this profitably over a long period of time, and that is what makes Jollibee Chicken Joy a winner. In summary, we have to zoom to win. Zoom are winning unique selling propositions as a way to answer competition, and what we need to do is to be profitable and make this sustainable. In this presentation, we related that USPs are a combination of the gaps with customers, company, and competition. We related it to a simple firewood analogy where we tried to solve the pain better than competition. We emphasize that it's the unique primary target market and the unique selling proposition that has to come together, and the brand has to be better than competition in filling the gaps. Finally, we apply this to a local example, Jollibee Chicken Joy, where it's not just the price, but it's the product, it's the taste, it's the speed, and all other things that it can profitably sustain that gives it a competitive advantage. One more thing. Although this has been mentioned before, we should remember that winning brands cannot be one-trick ponies. They cannot live and die just on one thing over one day. Rome wasn't built in a day, and so are winning brands. To emphasize this, watch this Zoom video and find out why Zoom won in the video conferencing wars. This has been an educational video on sustainable competitive advantage through winning unique selling propositions, or Zoom to win. Marketing plan, anyone? You're looking for a way to make a great marketing plan, then you're in luck because it's easy and complete if you use templates. In this session, we will learn about the 11P marketing plan template, and it's called 11P because there are 11 steps, all starting with the letter P. The first recommended step is to profile your primary target market, describe them, know their problem or pain, what do they want solved. Third, what is the present solution or pain to the pain that they're experiencing? And what is your unique selling proposition to solve that problem? To be able to see where you are versus the other choices of the same customer, you need to position yourself as far as parity and differentiation, and to be able to know if it's big enough to matter and small enough to handle, you will need to put an estimate of the market size in pesos so that you can properly put the expenses and budget and activities in perspective. The next four steps are the marketing mix, the product, the price, the promo and place strategies, and the 11th step, which also starts with a P, is called the Panalo winning strategy. In this learning session, you will see an example of how this is executed using a hypothetical company we will call WWW, warm wherever, whenever, delivering warmth everywhere in Baguio. This is Professor Bong de Ungria of the Ateneo Graduate School of Business, and this execution will elaborate how the 11P marketing plan template can be used. So this is the cover page, and the normal second step of a presentation is the outline. And in WWW, warm, whenever, wherever, the profile of the primary target market is Pedro, the wealthy family man. He has a problem as far as warmth where he lives in cool Baguio. His present solution is he buys firewood from SM department store. The unique selling proposition of this company is it can deliver environment-friendly firewood anywhere in Baguio in 60 minutes. An estimate of the market size for firewood is 877,000 per month, or more than 5 million a year. The products are firewood and related environment-friendly products delivered to Pedro in 60 minutes or less. For firewood, the price is 200 per pack, and that pack lasts 4 hours but is priced 20% higher than alternatives. There's no physical store, they deliver anywhere in Baguio. The promotions are through the company's website, Facebook page, and social media. And the winning strategy, it's a niche approach focused on Pedro type of customers. So, what's the profile of Pedro, our primary target market? In summary, Pedro is a wealthy family man. He is aged 30 to 40 years old. And let me just focus on why for the templates we require a 10-year age range. It's because we really want to have a specific profile of the primary target market, because that will dictate his age, his lifestyle, his family position, his general characteristics better than if you have a very wide age range. So we limit the age to 10 years for the primary target market. So at this age, Pedro, at 30 to 40 years old, is more likely to be married with 2 children, ages 8 and 12 years old. He belongs to the socioeconomic class AB, and for this example, he lives and works in Baguio, where there's generally cold weather. He owns his own house, which has a fireplace, and he likes the outdoors and is very environment conscious. He also wants to provide bonding moments for his family. So that's the first step. Describe your primary target market. What's their profile? Describe them in detail. Now, the second step is to describe Pedro's problem or pain. In this case, sometimes it gets too cold at home. What contributes to the problem is Pedro is a busy man. He prefers firewood to spread warmth and provide bonding moments for his family during cold days in Baguio. But firewood is scarce.
He still has to go to the department store, and he frequently forgets to stock up on enough firewood. What makes it a little more complicated is generally there's no delivery of firewood to his home, and he does not like heaters for the expense, and even if he can afford it, he prefers firewood over heaters. He's also concerned about the source of his firewood, and because he's environment conscious, he wants to know if he's supporting or harming nature with what products he uses. For this problem or pain, Pedro has current solutions or present choices. First, when he feels cold, he can do nothing, and his family just bears the cold, or he can buy or stock up firewood from SM. But the challenge there is if you buy it from SM, the only differentiator between all different firewood alternatives is the price, and you don't want that to be the only differentiator. His third option is to buy and use an expensive heater. Now, what does the company WWW offer as an alternative solution, or what we call a unique selling proposition to Pedro? Well, this company delivers nature-friendly firewood anywhere in Baguio within 60 minutes. So, with this selling proposition, the benefit to Pedro and his family, his wife and kids, is they will enjoy warmth and joy at their fireplace with real firewood in the real fire. He does not have to think about it or remember, he just calls. Furthermore, the USP or the company contains a guarantee that the product promotes a sustainable environment. The firewood is from fast growing trees, which it plants itself and then replaces. So, with this unique selling proposition, you would want to find out how your company and your product is competitively positioned. The first plot of the positioning is a 2 by 2 matrix. You would look for two critical variables that would allow a clear differentiation between your product and your competitors. For firewood, the two key differentiators would be price and place. Okay? So for price, you can be low price like SM Firewood, and for place, it can be bought at the store. Or you can be high priced like WWW Firewood, and it can be delivered to your place. You know that you chose the right combination of variables if this allow you to really separate or have a differentiation between your main competitors in the market. So for this template, I always propose to use two positioning maps, a 2 by 2 matrix, and the other is a benefits map, where you list the common benefits that you share with your competitors, but more importantly, it should show your points of differentiation. For firewood, plotting this shows that there are points of parity that is shared by the four key competitors: SM Firewood, Firewood WWW, those which neighborhood store supply, and the electric heater. The first batch of benefits are commonly shared by most of these choices. They all provide warmth. Three of the four gives natural light, and promotes family bonding. But aside from the points of parity, what is more important is to show that there are points of differentiation. So for this example, only WW Firewood is positioned to be from a sustainable source. that can be delivered within 60 minutes through an easy to call number or chat and in all natural packing. So, yes, it's important to have a point of parity with your competitors because that will help customers place you or frame you in their mind as to what you are and what you can do. But to win in the marketplace, you should have relevant and compelling points of differentiation. The sixth step is to determine the market size. And we always emphasize that market size is not population, it's not the number of people. It has to always be translated to peso value. So for Baguio, taking a information from Wikipedia, the most relevant information here is the number of households. And there are about 88,000 households in Baguio. And from our I Love Marketing model, the SEC classification, we know that Class AB is about 1% of the population. And since 1% of the total population will show 877 households would be Class AB, where there could be a Pedro, the wealthy family man. Now, the estimating that firewood will be delivered 5 times at 200 each for the entire month, each AB household with a Pedro can order 1,000 pesos worth of firewood per month, and therefore multiplying the number of households times the consumption will give 877,000 per month as the monthly market size. Now, the target market share that WWW can aim for, given there are four competitors, can be 40%, and that would make the potential or target company sales on a monthly basis to be 351,000. So multiply that by 12 months. The total revenue of this company for firewood would be around 4.2 million. Now that amount is again relevant because it puts in perspective what projects or communication programs the company can put to get that 40% market share. It cannot spend 10 million if its annual revenues is only 4 million. And it cannot spend just 10,000 because it might not be able to get that 40% market share. So this step of estimating your size of the market is very important. Now, after having that, you now focus on the marketing mix or the 4Ps and you describe each of them. So the first one is the product and service strategy. For this example, you just dial one number and delivery is within 60 minutes. You can text, chat, or call. You can get an instant auto response from a chat bot or a live person. For the frequent orders, they have a database that makes it easy to reorder. And they have a website that shows how different this firewood is from other choices that Pedro may have. It also uses additional products like candles or potpourri on the website, which customers can order together with the firewood. So, to illustrate the strategy, you can list these attributes, or you can show print screens or photos of the website, the product catalog, the Facebook page, any campaigns that again demonstrates what the product and service strategy is. When you have a product, you want a price for that. And in summary, this product is premium priced, but still affordable to the AB class like Pedro in Baguio. So you may want to put a comparison table of product photos, of prices, of your product versus competitors. The next P is the place strategy, where you describe how the product reaches the final customer. And www delivers everywhere in Baguio. It doesn't need to go to a physical store. Customers like Pedro just need to go to the website. They can choose to scan a QR code or um, submit leave behind WW cards. They can also order via Lazada or Shopee, and all the deliveries will have the customer shoulder the delivery fee. The way www communicates is through its Facebook page, through Messenger chat, through its presence in Lazada and Shopee, through a one-way Viber community, meaning it's just the company communicating to the Viber group members. It also has a campaign of leave behind ref magnets, which serve as permanent calling cards that can be given for every delivery, and it takes advantage of word of mouth. So the last step is what we call the Panalo generic winning strategy. And by targeting just the Pedros, AB, Class AB in Baguio, it is clear that www is a niche player. It doesn't target everybody. It has a specific target market like Pedro, and it does not need to compete on price. It will not sell in places other than Baguio because one of the sources of pain is the cold weather. In summary, we showed the profile of Pedro, his problem on warmth, his present solutions, and the proposition that we will deliver environmental friendly firewood anywhere in Baguio in 60 minutes. This gives a potential market size of 877,000 per month, and we are targeting 40% share of this total market. So the products are firewood and related environment-friendly products delivered in 60 minutes or less. The firewood itself comes in 200 peso packs that last 4 hours. It is 20% more expensive than alternatives. There's no physical store because the company has set up delivery anywhere in Baguio where the customer pays the price of delivery. The promotions and communications are through the website, Facebook page, and other social media. And the Panalo strategy is a niche approach focusing on Pedro customers. So this has been a sample execution of the 11P, the 11-step marketing plan template for a hypothetical company we called www, warm wherever, whenever, delivering warmth everywhere in Baguio.
A market segment is a group of people who share similar qualities. It's a subdivision of an overall market. To qualify as a market segment, the subdivision needs three basic characteristics: homogeneity, distinction, and reaction. Homogeneity establishes common needs among the group. Distinction ensures the group is unique, and reaction requires the group's members to respond to the market in similar ways. Companies use market segments to narrow larger groups into smaller entities, which makes each group a better marketing target. Companies will approach each group differently once they understand their needs. For example, a market segment could be younger baby boomers who need financial advice to help them save for retirement. Another market segment could be young couples and families that are trying to buy new houses. Effective marketers will clearly define their segments and craft efficient messages to target them.
Market segmentation is a process used by marketers to group similar consumers together. This helps them better target their marketing efforts by sending the right messages to the right consumers. A market segment usually features three aspects. The first is homogeneity. The consumers in the segment have common needs. Second, each segment is distinctive. This implies the consumers in the group are different, in some ways, from consumers in other groups. Third is reaction, which implies that consumers in the segment will have similar responses to the marketing and advertising they see. One way to use market segmentation is by demographic. This refers to dividing consumers by aspects including age, gender, income, needs, or a combination thereof. Market segmentation can also be based on consumer behavior. This involves grouping consumers according to how they feel about a certain product or their knowledge of those products. Consumers who are very interested in gourmet cooking are likely grouped together for firms focused on the sale of exotic spices, rare wines, fine cookware, and sophisticated appliances. Consider a manufacturer of snowblowers. This company would use geography and home ownership as part of their approach to focus marketing and sales strategies. Their target consumers would be suburban and rural homeowners in countries like Canada, Sweden, and the northern U.S., rather than tropical countries like Brazil or Colombia.